What's up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of the Preacher Girl podcast. I am your host, Rachel Arner. Today, it's going to be an awesome show, I gotta say, because my good friend, Samuel, lives in France. I think that's amazing. I've never been to France. We got connected through Instagram. When I first started my podcast here, he was one of the first people who found my Instagram page. And long story short, he's just been a great support to my podcast and my page and everything. And I just really, really appreciate him. So he's on the show today. You guys are not going to want to miss this one because he shares some powerful testimonies. He shares how God has provided financially for him, even recently. He shares how God has led in his life. He talks about, when you struggle with your faith, the ups and downs of, your relationship with God. So you guys are not going to want to miss this one. I really think you're going to enjoy it. So here we go. Samuel, welcome to the show.
Hi, guys.
Samuel, I am so excited. Even before we were recording, I probably said it 10 more times, that you're on the show. So welcome.
Thank you so much for having me.
So, Samuel, tell us a little bit about yourself, where you're from, what you do, all that good stuff.
Well, sure. So, as you know now, my name is Samuel, and I was born in the West Indies. So, if you don't know the Caribbean parts of the island, but on the French part of it, and I've moved to France to study psychology first for 2 years. And what I do on Instagram, I love to talk about actually Instagram, coaching about Instagram and showing my artist side because I also put out music. And yeah, this is me.
That's awesome. Yeah. And for, those who don't know, Samuel, you're definitely, up and coming, I would say, in the music industry. You just put out some singles on Spotify. That's
Yes.
pretty amazing.
Thank you so much.
Tell us a little bit about that. Do you make music for fun? How did you kind of get into that? What inspires you to make music?
Ooh, great question. Let's just begin by what inspired me. Actually, it's basically God. God is really the center of everything that I talk about. Even if I talk about my experiences, God is the center of everything actually. And because what I want with my music is to really inspire and to touch those people who might have dealt with what I've dealt, and to really have a place for them. And when I started actually in the music was really, really young. At the age of 4, I started not really writing song, but I was singing out loud to God. And I remember this time when I was in the car with my mom and dad, and God always remind me of this day when I doubt actually. And I started to really sing out loud, just the bottom of my heart, and forget about everything and just focusing on God. And I was praising him, and I felt that's hard to explain, but heaven was down and that I was going up in heaven. This is a weird experience, but I was wow. Now that I look back, because I didn't know all those things, now that I look back and I know that my music is really, I really want God to be in the center of it, and this is really something special for me. So yeah, it started there. And I had a hard time to really understand my gift, and people were making fun of me because of this gift. And I started to really pursue it after, I think that was at the age of 14. I started to go on scene, stages, and start to learn how to properly use it, because you might have a gift, but if you don't know how to use it, that's a little bit useless.
Right? Preach it.
Yes. So,
well, that's awesome. You said at 14, you started, singing on stages and going around different places. Wow.
Yes,
that's amazing.
The grace
that's
of
amazing.
God,
I feel
actually.
but yeah, amen. That's awesome. I feel when I was 14, I was just I don't know, playing soccer and basketball and just doing whatever, and you're out there doing your thing. That's awesome. Good for you. And hearing you talk about how you're really wanting to glorify God in it and encourage people, that's amazing. Seriously, I have a lot of respect for you. Yeah. So for those of you who are listening, definitely check them out on Spotify. I was planning on saying this later in the episode, but how do they find you on Spotify? How do they find your music?
They just need to type BGGME, BG BG space GIMY with one M, the Jimmy, and you will find me like
Okay.
everywhere.
Okay, awesome, awesome. So, and for spelling, that's BGJIMY, right?
Yes.
You live in France. So, have
Yes.
you lived there your whole life? Tell us a little bit about that.
So like I've moved to France because of my study because we didn't have like psychology where I used to live. So I was
Okay.
like, where should I go? And I was in my head I wanted to go actually in like Canada because there you really can
Mm,
study really psychology in depth. But I was like, God, make your way however you want it. The first person who answered, this is where I will go. And actually Canada was so expensive, so that was a no
mm,
for me and my family.
gotcha. Uh-huh.
And so it was France left. And the funny thing is where I live now and I study in Toulouse, that was where my mom actually studied back when she was younger. And I
Wow,
did
no
not
way.
wanted to go there just because of that.
Just because of that.
Yes. But I told God,
Wow.
just make your way, and He sent me there. That's the first person, like the first town that responded, and here I am now.
Wow, that's really cool. Isn't that funny how that is? How like we
Yes.
don't want to go somewhere. We're like, sorry, I don't think so. No way. And then that's where you end up. Wow. Well,
Yes.
that's really cool. So are you done studying now in college or are you still
Ooh.
studying?
Actually, I've been studying for like 2 years, but the thing is, I did
Hmm.
not succeed the first year because
Okay.
where I study actually that was
That's all
really
right.
hard for me, by the way,
Oh
because I
yeah.
always really strive in school and always succeed, so that was really a hard time. And
Right,
God
right.
really told me to not rely and not put my identity in my work, but to really put my identity in
Mm,
Him. So I learned that.
yeah.
Um, and the school isn't really working properly. There's a lot of strikes and it's hard to learn.
Oh
So
wow.
that was really hard for me.
Wow.
And I tried again this year and I started to
Uh-huh.
realize that I hate it. Not,
Really?
not because of the subjects, but how it is,
Okay.
how they teach us. This is really hard and not really
Mm.
focused on God, if I can say it this way.
Okay,
Um,
sure, yeah.
so
So
yeah,
it's not a Christian school then,
yes,
right?
exactly.
It's
It's not a
a
Christian school at all.
okay. Yeah.
At all.
Okay. Hey, that's all right. So,
Yeah.
but it sounds like you kind of wanted that. Is that kind of part of it
Yes,
too?
yes, I wanted that. I never actually went to Christian school because we don't have this where I used to live. So this is exactly
Okay.
what I knew my whole life. So for me, that was normal
Yeah.
actually. And yeah,
Right.
so I will stop
Okay.
psychology because it also gave me a lot of anxiety. And well, we're gonna talk
Mm.
about this later, I guess, but like this is like one
Yeah,
of the
yeah,
turning
yeah,
points
yeah.
in my life.
Right, 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 right. Yeah, well, and I'm sure a lot of people can relate to that, dealing with anxiety and different things like that.
Yes.
I know you've kind of commented on my episode relating to that a little bit too, and telling me how you could relate to that. I think that's kind of how we first started
Yes,
talking,
I
right?
think
I'm pretty
so.
sure. Yeah, it was the episode, what was it called? Running on Depression, I
Yes.
think, right? It was that one. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So we'll definitely talk about that for sure. I did want to put a plug in here real quick. You should check out Andrews University in Michigan. Because it's, it's not too bad. It sounds
Mhm.
like you might like it. Um, but I know you have a lot going for you in France. So
Yes.
that's awesome. But anyways, well, hey, we don't need to go in any specific order.
Yes,
Let's talk about, your dealing with anxiety and different things like
yes,
that. Share with us a little bit about that.
for sure. So this is really a long story, but it really started when I was really young because I was saved really young. I can't remember when I was saved, but I know that was really young, probably at the age of 6 or something like that, because I
Mm,
was born in a Christian family and because I was not in like a Christian school, I guess in my head that was normal for me. Seeing the other kids,
mm,
how they were, I guess, interacting with the world, and although problems they were having, I was like, well, life with God seems better than life without God, so why not? So I went there.
Yeah. So why not? Yeah, I love that.
And
That's great.
yes, and this is how I became saved. And I guess the devil did not like it. So since
Mm.
this age, I started to really being bullied actually all the years until my
Wow.
18. All the school I was actually bullied with like specific things that was always and always and always coming, which was really hard
Oh,
for me. That
wow.
was exactly the same thing, and
Yeah.
people also hated me for no reason. Like I was nice and stuff, and people did not like me.
Really?
Um,
Wow.
and that was really hard for me to understand this period, and this is where it led me
Mm.
to being depressed because like I did not have people to talk to, and I was kind of
Mm.
alone, even though like I had people that I could hang out, I guess, with, but they didn't have the
Yeah.
same belief as me and the same way of thinking
Okay.
about the world. So that was hard,
Mm.
and
Sure,
that
sure.
was also a hard period with my family because the church where we were going was closed because of well
Oh, no.
of things that was happening, and so for
Okay.
so many years we couldn't find a church to go with. So that was also a spiritual really a
Mm.
hard ground to stay on.
Yeah. Yeah.
um,
Wow, that's
and
hard.
it led all of this led me to like depression and anxiety because
Mm.
you're really searching for yourself first and people don't accept you, so how can you accept
Mm.
yourself if nobody's accepting you? This that was really a hard thing.
Mm. Wow.
and uh and I actually wanted to kill myself multiple times, but what helped me to hold on was
Mm.
the fact that God told us that He has planned for our lives. And I was like, God, if you really do have
Mm.
plans for me, this means that tomorrow is gonna be better. If you really, really have plans for
Mm.
me, what if like today I die? Like tomorrow I could have
Wow,
entered
wow.
in something greater than what I could ever imagine. So
Mm.
this is what helped me hold
Yeah.
on one of the thing actually. And
Wow, wow.
also, when I started to really put my trust in him and not caring about what people will think about me and really put my identity in him, when I started to really
Mm.
dive deeper in the word and dig deeper in who he was. Actually, I remember that was probably at 14, actually. I asked him,
Wow, wow.
what, how am I supposed to know myself, God? I don't know myself. Who am I? What should I do? How am I supposed to
Mm.
discover this? And he gave me like a
Yeah.
vision. I literally saw him and he was like, the more you go, let me try to put it this way. Wait, how did you say that, God? The more you like, um, the more you come closer to me, the more you discover me, the more you see who you are. And like I was seeing his face, and that was like his face was were turning into a mirror. The more I was looking at his eyes, the more I was diving deeper and understanding who he really were actually, I started to see myself in
Wow.
him. And till this day I started to
Wow.
understand to discover who you really are actually. It's just discovering who God is because we were made in his image and he created
Yeah.
everything in us, so he knows where we're supposed to look. So yeah, that's a little bit about
Hmm.
it.
First of all, you have an amazing
Oh,
story. Thank you so much for sharing that. I'm sure a lot of people were blessed from hearing just
I
that.
hope so.
Man, I gotta say though, the fact that you said a vision or a dream,
Yeah.
that's amazing. Like that really shows that, you just really, and maybe even now, you're just really longing to be closer and more like
Yes.
Christ, and hearing you talk about that, I love that. That's absolutely amazing. Because you don't hear that a lot. You don't hear a lot of people talk about, having a dream or something like that.
True.
What is something, recently, you told us a little bit
Mm.
about, your story and what you've gone through. Is there anything recently that God has been revealing to you or, speaking to you about, that you think would be an encouragement to others?
I think those 2 years actually was like 2 years since I'm in France was like the most hard years of my life. And that's hard to understand
Hmm.
because actually I was bullied before, but like that was hard because I don't have a family here and I really needed to put
Okay.
all my trust in God. I needed really to,
Hmm.
and that's funny because like I'm such a, I don't know how to put it in a great way, but like I love to challenge God in a sense of I was like,
Okay, yeah.
God, if I go there alone, you said in the Bible that you're the
Mm,
God who provide. I want to see that. You say that you're the God
yeah.
who heal. I want to see that. Like those last months, like I said, I want to end psychology, and I was like, but God, if I
Right.
end psychology, where am I supposed to go? Because that's what I wanted to do here.
Hmm.
I went there just for that. What am I doing with my life
Oh, yeah,
now? And
yeah.
like that's how to explain how he did it, but like he didn't answer me to this specific question, but started to really, like I said, help me again discover my gift and help me again heal actually from all these past
Yeah.
hurts. And
Yeah.
like through people, through other Christian that I
Uh-huh.
found, thanks to him,
Yeah.
because like in
Mm.
2018 that was so hard for me. Those This year was so hard that I literally prayed God,
Mm.
like I have nobody, please reveal to me those
Wow.
people that can really pray for me and that I can pray for. Please reveal to me those people who
Wow,
would
that's
support me and that I
amazing.
can really support. And funny thing is, in 2019, like literally in the beginning of the month, I started to have like those people
Yeah.
coming and showing
Yeah.
that. And
That's
instead of
awesome.
complaining, we should really put the thing that
Yeah.
is our really on our hearts to the Lord, to really the thing that hold us in chains or hold us that really are hard
Mm.
for to carry. Ask him and he will answer
Wow.
actually. And uh
Yeah. Yeah.
and literally a couple
Mm.
months ago I didn't knew where I was going to sleep. I didn't knew where I was supposed to get my money,
Mm.
because my money come from like the government
Wow.
because I study in psychology. And I was
Okay.
like, but like,
Okay.
wait, hold on, God, hold on, like, there's a problem here. Am I not supposed to be your
This is
child?
a problem.
Am I not supposed
Yeah.
to have something to live? Like you said that you give food to the
Yeah.
birds and they don't have to worry. You said that you give clothes, and we don't have to
Mm.
worry. And I'm starting to worrying. There's a problem.
Yeah.
And he said to me to trust him. And that was so hard. I was like having faith when
Yeah.
you don't know where you're going. This is true faith, actually, not
Mm.
knowing what is gonna be tomorrow. And I started to
Yeah.
learn to
Yeah.
live. I don't know how to put it, but like live day by day in a sense of like really focusing on not worrying about tomorrow, not worrying about
Mm. Yeah.
everything that might come after, because they might not. And today is really where
Sure.
we
Sure.
are. We don't have to look back, we don't have to look
Yeah.
forward. Like
Mm.
focus on him today, because you will
Yep.
miss the blessing that are today. And for
Mm.
example, I had this day where I had money on my bank account, but my card couldn't work
Mhm.
actually, and God provided. But the day after, I was like,
Wow,
I have
really?
nothing in my fridge, God, and I need to eat. So I'll go do the groceries. And I thought,
Mm.
I think my card will work this time. I hope, Jesus. And I go to, I guess
Mhm.
that's the ATM,
Yeah.
and the ATM told me, you
Okay.
cannot like take money. You can take under $20. I was like, wait, this is weird. Let's say, okay,
Oh,
$20.
no.
The ATM wasn't working for my
Oh, wow.
card. And I was like, oh my God,
Wow.
why is this
Mm.
happening to me? What am I supposed to eat? I'm hungry. I'm starving. My parents are far away from me, and
Yeah.
I called them, but they were asleep because we have like 6 hours of difference. And I was like, okay, what do I do? What do I do? What do I do?
Mm.
And because of all these past hurts, um, I have not. I won't say trust issues, but like I don't talk about my problems to the
Mhm.
people that surrounds me. I don't talk about how am I doing. I'm
Sure.
just keeping it to myself and to God actually. And
Sure. Yeah.
I think that God wanted me to really understand that He put people my way for a reason. So the people that I
Hmm.
found, those people that showed up that I was talking about in the beginning of 2019, I found like a group where I can hang out and be in a church actually. I text like the guy who was
Wow, that's
leading,
awesome.
and I say like, this is how bad it is. I didn't say, can you like help me with money or stuff. I was like, oh, can you just pray for me?
Mhm.
Can you just pray for me,
Oh.
please? Guess what happened? He called me and say we can meet and like talk a little bit, and I cried because he said to me, don't ask question.
Mm.
Um God put this
Hmm.
on my heart, and He gave me $100. And $100 in my country
Wow.
is like
Wow.
an entire month of food. You really do provide. You are really the God who can make a way when there's no way. And I don't know this guy for so long. It's been like maybe no, almost 2 months since I know him. Like he don't know me. Why would you give me
Really?
money? It's really because
Yeah. Yeah. Right.
it's
Right.
really
Right.
because
Right.
God went through it all and made a miracle.
Hmm.
So yeah, this is like
Wow.
where I'm at in
Wow.
my life.
Powerful. That's incredible. Just hearing that story, that doesn't happen every
Mm,
day, right? It really doesn't. And, for you, you're probably thinking, man, this sucks. I just want to eat, right? And you don't want to be in that spot, who does, right? But now you have this powerful testimony,
yes.
and even me right now, even just hearing it, like I'm blown away, really. And it's a great reminder to all of us that whether you have $20, $50, whatever it is that you're worried about, not having enough money or whatever it may be, he'll come
Yeah.
through, and this guy that gave you the money, you only knew him for less than 2 months, like that's crazy, so there's no stopping God. If we just pray and involve him,
Mhm.
in our life, he will do it, he will do it. So that is a powerful story. Seriously, that's amazing. That's so when he gave you the money, like what was your reaction? Or you said you cried or
Yeah,
whatever,
but
right?
like
Like were you just
I
blown
was
away?
I didn't have words and actually like um I saw his face and he turned around really quickly, but I saw his face
Yeah.
and this is funny, but like I really felt like that was the how do we say that in English? Is that compassion? I don't know. Like God.
Oh,
Yes,
compassion.
okay,
Yeah, yeah,
great.
yeah.
The compassion of God through his eyes, like I could see that he was really caring for me. I was like, whoa, I see the
Mm,
shepherd in his eyes. I see
wow.
the Lord in his eyes.
Like in the moment, right? Like like God is
Yeah.
working and it's a miracle. But sometimes, and of course, like you're extremely grateful and that was God. But sometimes it's even like a day or a week or even a couple weeks later when you're even like more in awe.
Mhm.
Like you're just like, wow, like God did that.
Exactly.
Like sometimes it's even later that you're even more like amazed and even blessed again
Mhm.
just from that story that you have yourself. So now, was there anything else to that story? Like how are you doing now? Like are
Ooh.
things going better for you? It has, how's it going now?
That's funny because like I said, God is teaching me to really have faith. Like there's things that he has answered
Hmm.
and there's things that he don't want to answer now because I think he has a timing. And this is a
Mm.
little bothering. This is a little annoying actually. Sometimes you're like, but God, why don't you answer there?
Yeah.
And I know that he has a
Yeah.
perfect timing. For example, the same guy told me, that's funny. Okay, funny story. Like he invited us, like the people who were going to the church with him, like for dinner.
Hmm.
And we went there and like at the end of like the dinner or at the beginning, I don't remember. We were three, by the way, three guy,
Uh-huh.
me and him and another guy. And he said to me, or to us, that's funny. We're all searching for an apartment. Why don't we like go together in one apartment? And that was a little
Wow.
mind blowing for me because I remember that I was
Uh-huh.
kind of asleep before coming and like I was talking to God almost asleep, like what am I supposed to do? Where am I supposed to live? Because I will not have I will not have a
Mm.
house at the end of this month. And the fact that he
Oh,
said
wow.
that, I was like, wait, hold up, God. Again, that was fast. and, uh,
Yeah.
but he said to me, oh, and the other guy actually said, oh, that's funny. Yes, we should totally do that. And he was like, wait. I said that by just laughing. I didn't thought that you were really wanting to go into this.
Oh, like as a
Yes.
joke.
And he asked
Yeah.
me and he said, oh, what do you think about it? And like, I was a little, like when those kind of things happen, I'm like, God, that's a little too much for my head. So I was like, no, I'm not really searching for that, blah, blah, blah. And, and later, I told him that
Uh-huh.
actually I was searching for it. And like, now I know where I'm going to live in September, but I still don't know where I'm going to live in
Really?
August and July.
Oh, okay.
But he also said
I
to
see.
me
I see.
that his apartment where he's living now, he will go out of this apartment and that I can go in July in it. So, like things are coming, not how I will think this will come, and coming at the right timing.
That's amazing. No, there's definitely a lot of truth in that. You saying, you have a place to live, later down the road this year, but you don't know where you're going to live, the months
Yes,
before that, So I'll definitely be
you
praying for
told
that
it.
for sure. And I know he'll provide because it sounds like he really has his hand on
Yes.
you. He's really looking out for you. So I have no doubt in my mind that he will show up. So you'll have to keep me
Yes, for
posted,
sure.
we'll have to keep everyone posted here because this is
Yes.
exciting, times, also
Yes,
hard
yes,
times, it
yes.
sounds like. I'm sure that's stressful trying to, wait on the Lord and trust his
Hmm.
timing and knowing that he'll provide and really, being tested, your faith being
Yes,
tested, in those times that are difficult. And I guess that's one of the ways that we really grow in our relationship with
exactly.
Christ because we have one of two choices, right? We can say, you know what, God, like, I'm stuck. I don't have a place to live. Like, you're not doing anything for me. Or you can take it one day at a time, like you were talking about, just consistently like praying to the Lord and saying, hey, like, this is where I'm at
Hmm.
today. Like, you know what I need and I'm giving that to you. Like I'm letting you do that for me because I'm worried. And you tell us we shouldn't
Yes.
worry. And giving it to God, that's powerful stuff. That's really cool that you're doing that. Really. That's
Thank
awesome,
you.
Samuel. That's awesome. Yeah, so one of my recent Instagram
Hmm.
posts, and I guess this is kind of along the lines of what you're
Yeah.
sharing now, but maybe a little different. I posted about how God changed my
Mm.
plans, right? My summer plans totally changed. Not sure why, but knowing that God was
Hmm.
leading there and still is. And you commented and were like, wow, like yes, me too. Like I totally
Hmm.
can relate to this. So, do you want to share with us, kind of how you've been, having your
For
plans
sure.
change?
So remember that I was going in France to study in psychology, and I'm pretty sure that was from God, and I
Mm-hmm.
still think, and I'll tell you why later. But like
Mm-hmm.
after that, I was like, but God, like I hate it, and I'm pretty sure that if that's something you really want me to do, you will put the desire in my heart to do it. So what is happening? Why I'm having
Yeah.
anxiety to do those
Mm-hmm.
stuff, and I okay, funny story. Not funny, not so funny. But like I was stuck and I
Okay.
was like, okay, God, where am I supposed to go? And like it's kind of like I closed the conversation with God, if I can put it the way. I was like, where am I supposed to go? And then I went to my
Sure.
phone. I was scrolling on Instagram like really
Mm.
fast just to like get out of my head, I
Mm-hmm.
guess. And like I saw an ad, and the
Gotcha.
ad
Gotcha.
was saying, "Oh, the school of music is opening, blah blah blah." And I was like, "Why am I seeing this ad?"
Mm.
And it looks really
Mm. Yeah. Yeah.
interesting, but
Yeah.
the thing is, it looks like a school in
Yeah.
Paris, like far away from me. And I was like, "Okay, let me just check. We never
Yeah.
know." And the school was
Right. Right.
actually in Toulouse. And I know that
Uh-huh. Oh, you
yeah, I
went
went to
there.
like the site, I mean, first to see like if that was really for me,
Okay. Oh, the website.
and
Sure.
like
Sure.
to
Sure.
check if what was the prices and stuff. And like I started to, yeah, I know that there's some believers who don't think that God can give us dreams. But I remember that I had like multiple
Mm.
dreams, and that was I didn't knew why,
Wow.
but in those dreams I was seeing like I was
Uh-huh.
moving forward like in a bus every time I was taking a bus, and I was moving forward to a certain
Mm.
destination. And every time the dream was ending there, and every time I was moving in like the days and like the thing that the Lord told me to do, every time the bus was moving forward. And in the last dream I was like, I'm so
Wow.
close and I don't understand what's about this bus, but what is the destination, God? This is weird. When they had like we could go, and they were talking about the school, what was in the program, so I went there to the meeting. What happened? I was in a bus. So in the bus, I remember the last dream. I was like,
Uh-huh.
this is how to explain, but it was like there was a beautiful place in the dream, and I was like, I was waiting in the bus in the dream, and I was
Okay.
like, ooh, this place is so pretty.
Uh-huh.
I can take pictures there, and like, Yeah, that's so really beautiful.
Yeah, yeah.
Guess what happened in the life? I was like, oh,
Uh-huh.
this place is pretty. Oh, I can take pictures there. I was like,
Oh my
wait, is that my
goodness.
dream? And I was like,
That's
but God, you're so
crazy.
funny.
Wow.
So fast forward,
Yeah, right. Yeah.
fast forward at certain
That's true.
application.
He's definitely very
Yes.
funny
At
sometimes.
certain application, even though I didn't feel qualified to go there, even though I was like, but how am I supposed to pay for it?
Okay.
But God gave me the confidence through the dreams to
Mm,
people who prayed for me. I didn't ask for, and they
uh-huh.
will say, "Oh, I received from the Lord that you should go to a music school." I was like, "Okay, where? When did you? How?"
Yeah, right.
And
Yeah.
I went and I sent the application, and actually, I know that this is the Lord who led everything because the girl who received me said, "Wow, like your application is
Mhm.
like you will enter this school. I'm not the one who make the decision, but like this is a perfect application. There's everything you said, and you were well prepared, which is
Wow.
not true. Actually, I was not prepared. I put some bullet points, and I could. And the thing
Wow.
is, people prayed for me, and I prayed for this moment, and I trusted God. And fast forward,
Mm,
like they say that I'm in the school, and well, I still need to know how I'm gonna pay it. But like I said, I'm in the phase process, and
mhm.
so yeah.
And it sounds like this was kind of maybe not a super long time coming, but
Yes.
somewhat, of a long time coming. You said people were
Yes.
praying for you and you were having these dreams and you weren't sure what they were about and then you're
Yes.
living your dream if I dare say, like that's amazing. So, are you current is that the school where you did attend then? So you did get in and you went to
Oh, I
school
went
there?
there. I sent the application. Yeah, that's the school where I visited actually, just to see if like that was for me. And yeah,
Okay. So this is
yes,
this
it's recent.
recent
Really, really,
then?
really recent.
So you're currently like in the time of like are you waiting to hear
Oh,
back
they
from
said
them
like
then?
I have the like I will go in September. There's a place for me that's perfect. So yes,
Wow. That is seriously so amazing. Good for you. And it all started when you just wanted to
yes,
get on Instagram, right? Who would have thought,
exactly.
right? God works on Instagram too, right? That is so, so cool. Well, good for you. I'm really happy to hear that, the fact that you're, trying to live not only live your best life, but you're letting God be a
Yes.
part of it too. I think that's awesome. Well, Samuel, is there anything else on your heart or on your mind that you want to share with the listeners, at
Yes,
all?
maybe if like you're in the waiting season for an answer to God, keep like having faith in him and keep trusting him because he will really answer your prayers. Like step by step, he's really answering every little prayer that I made. Like this is crazy. In 2018, he told me, wrote on a paper what you want me to accomplish in your life. And I said, I want an apartment. I said, I want to have people to work on my album and single. Every single thing that I wrote is like actually got answered. God has his own timing for a
Hmm.
reason because sometimes the people need to change their heart or like you need to maybe build a little bit of your character, but everything is in the hand of God and he will really answer you. Actually, all my life was like I told people like my life is like a movie and sometimes I really feel like Job in a sense of like there's so many weird things that happen
Mm,
to my life and I kind of understand it because the
yeah.
position that God want me to have, like in the music industry and all those things, are really a great thing that God has put on my heart. So I know that the devil is not happy. So like so many things have happened in my life, and I know that all those testimonies are like useful to people. For example, the fact that I couldn't eat, like now I can also relate to the homeless people. Like when you have everything, you don't
Mm.
think about the question of, oh, should I eat today? Because tomorrow I don't know if I'm gonna have food. Like those kind of things, you don't think about it. So yeah.
Yeah, no, it's very true, and I can actually relate to that too because me and my family, we were actually homeless for a
Mm,
little bit too. It was like 3 years ago or no, 4 years ago. It wasn't long, but it was long enough. It was maybe like
mm,
6 weeks, right? And then it happened again a year. But anyways, my point is I totally hear you because it really opens
mhm,
your eyes. It really, really opens your eyes. Because normally, you drive by someone who has a cardboard sign or something,
mhm.
who's homeless, and you think, oh, are they
True.
really homeless? Are they really, or you might think, well, they'll be fine. Someone else will
Mm,
give them some money or someone else will buy them some food. but God is calling us to help that
Exactly.
person, right? It's like, why it's like the Good
Mm,
Samaritan, right? Like, why pass by that person who needs
mhm,
help? It's like, that's not what Jesus would
mm,
do, right? It's like, it's as simple as that. Would Jesus stop and help that person?
mm.
Yeah, he would. So I think that's awesome that you can relate to people who are homeless and people who are in need. It's
Not
not
at all.
fun, at all, but I'm sure it's really
Mm,
opened your eyes. And it'll really, in the long run, because think about it, you have all this great music coming out. If that's really something that's going to take off for you or whatever it is, you might find yourself in a place later down in the road where you really will be able to help people more than you ever
mm,
thought you would be able to. And if it weren't for the experiences that you're going through right now, later down the road, if you do find yourself really successful,
true.
you'll have a
Mhm,
different perspective than anyone else
mhm.
might, right? So yeah, you got to keep the big picture in mind, right?
Yeah, you're trying to do more of podcast episode, and I was like, yes, keep doing it because like the stories you're sharing, the stories of the people and your own are really important, and like those things are changing lives, and actually already changed my life by listening to you, and I could relate. I was like, oh, I'm not alone in this situation. Oh, someone else experienced this, and like someone
Oh,
overcame this. So keep doing this. Really, I pray that this will touch more and more people and that you will be able to grow with it too. Yeah.
wow. Thank you so much. That means so much to me. Really. Thank you. I mean, just like hearing that, like, because, it's a little bit of work. It
Mhm.
does take some time. And then you do start to wonder, are people actually benefiting
Mhm.
from this? Or am I saying too much or am I saying too little? Or should I make episodes
Yes.
differently? You have doubts sometimes, right? Like anything but every time right when I start to doubt, someone like
Mhm.
you like encourage me and you say thank you, and it really does mean a lot, and it really does uplift me because I definitely doubt just like anyone else
Mhm.
sometimes too. So thank you, I
Okay.
really do appreciate it. All right, you guys, thank you so much for tuning in for this episode. I hope you were blessed. I know I most certainly was blessed and highly encouraged. So be sure to go follow him on Instagram at the life of BGJIMY. Definitely give him a follow there, and be sure to follow me on Instagram as well if you aren't doing that yet, because I post on there pretty often, and I'm pretty active on there when I'm not uploading a podcast on here. So also did want to let you guys know that I am working on creating more episodes than I have been. So I'm really excited about that. I'm going to be uploading every Tuesday and Thursday, Lord willing, that I can do that. That's my plan and my goal, because I want to give you guys more quality content and more consistently as well. So again, thank you so much for tuning in here. Also, be sure to go to Apple Podcast and write a review for me and rate my show there. That would mean the world to me, and that would really allow for us to continue to grow as a community. So be sure to do that as well, and find me on Facebook, last but not least, at the Preacher Girl Podcast. All right, you guys, I hope you're doing amazing. I hope God is working in your life, and you rock. So thank you so much for tuning in. Have a great day. Bye.